Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ardi Seto Priambodo from Department of Electrical Engineering, Institut Teknologi 10 November, Surabaya. Today, I'm honored to present our research title, GNSS Seeded Monocular Visual SLAM for Autonomous Navigation, GNSS Denied Environments. This paper is a joint collaboration between ITS Indonesia and National Sun Yat-sen University, Taiwan. Here is the outline of my presentation today. I will start with a brief abstract and introduction to explain the background of our research. Next, I will describe the methodology we use to solve the problem. After that, I will present the result and discussion based on our experiments. Finally, I will close with the conclusion. This slide summarizes our entire work. As we know, autonomous robots rely heavily on GNSS or GPS. However, in urban areas or indoors, this signal can be unreliable or blocked. To solve this, we propose using monocular visual SLAM as a backup. The key innovation in this paper is short initial calibration. We use GNSS for just a short distance, about 50 meters, to align the camera system. Once calibrated, the robot can continue navigating accurately even without GPS or GNSS. Our simulation results show that this method is highly effective, maintaining low error rates over long distance. Let's move on the background of our research. First, the problem. Most autonomous robots today rely heavily on GNSS or GPS, but we know that GNSS is not perfect. Signal can be lost in urban canyons, indoors, or even due to jamming or spoofing. We could use sensors like LiDAR, but they are often too heavy and expensive for small drones. So here is our proposed solution. We propose using monocular visual SLAM. It is a great alternative because it only requires a single camera, making it very lightweight and low cost. However, there is a big challenge. Monocular SLAM has no global scale. It doesn't know what a meter is, and it doesn't know its latitude or longitude. To fix this, we use a short GNSS segment at the very beginning to calibrate the system. This allows the drone to navigate globally even when the GPS signal is completely lost later on. This slide illustrates our system architecture. We integrate AirSim with ArduPilot SETL to create a high-fidelity simulation. The drone is equipped with a single nadir view camera, which means it points straight down. The video feed is processed by Stella VisLAM to generate visual trajectory. Now, let's look at the workflow on the right side. The system takes two input, the local visual SLAM position, XI, and the global GNSS position, PI. Our main goal is to find the mathematical link between them. We use a similarity transformation model to calculate three key parameters: scale, rotation, and translation. Once we find this parameter from a short flight, we can convert all future visual data into accurate global coordinates. Now, let's dive into the core of our methodology, the two-stage alignment process. Stage 1 is the Umeyama algorithm. We use this to get a route alignment. It works by calculating the centroids, or the center points, of both the SLAM and GNSS data. Using a method called SVD, singular value decomposition, it instantly calculates the initial scale, rotation, and translation. As you can see in the graph, this brings the two trajectory close together. Stage 2 is similarity ICP. Since real-world data has noise, the first stage is not enough. We use ICP to fine-tune the result. This algorithm works iteratively. It finds the closest matching points between the two datasets and repeatedly adjusts the alignment to minimize the error. The result, once the error is minimized, we get the final transformation parameter. We apply this to the drone's visual system, allowing it navigate using a global coordinate. Okay, in this slide, detail of our experiment setup. First, please look at the table on the left. We simulate a multi-rotor drone using AirSim and ArduPilot SETL that I mentioned before. For vision system, we use camera with 100 to 80 by 720 resolution running at 30 frames per second. Crucially, the camera is set to nadir view, 90 degree, meaning it points straight down to the ground. For the VisLAM algorithm, we configure Stella VisLAM to use orb feature extraction with X scale levels and in ideal pinhole camera model. Now moving to the calibration scenarios on the right, we test 3 specific calibration length. Note that all trajectories start at 30 meters and end at 60 meters, but their parts differ. The 25-meter part, the blue line, it start 30 meters, reach 40 meters at the half point, 12.5 meter, and climb to 60 meters at the end. The 50 meters part, the green line, it start at 30 meters, climb higher to 50 meters, and at the midpoint 20 meters, 25 meters, and finish at 60 meters. The longest calibration path, 100 meters path, the red line, it's climb most aggressively, reaching the full 60 meters by the midpoint 50 meters, and stays level until the end. We designed this variation to test how altitude change affect the scale recovery. Now let's analyze the calibration performance. Please focus on the table at the bottom. I will explain what each column represents and how we obtain this number. Length is the physical distance of the calibration flight, 25, 50, and 100 meters. Data count is the number of synchronized data pairs we capture between the Visual SLAM and GNSS. As expected, longer flight provide more data points. Umeyama with meter represent the initial error, RMSE. After the first stage, we achieve an error between 1.13 and 1.16 meters. ICP, also with meter, is the final error after the second stage refinement. You can see the error drop to 0.11 meters. Iteration show how many loops the ICP algorithm run before it converged or stop improving. Gain with percent show the percentage of improvement. This is calculated by comparing the Umeyama error to the ICP error. The key observation, the similarity ICP process successfully improved accuracy by roughly 60% to 26%. Interestingly, the 100 meters calibration in the bottom row converged at the fastest, requiring only 7 iterations. This is because the longer trajectory provided better geometry, giving the algorithm a stronger initial lock. Okay, then next we evaluate a system on a straight line mission of 150 meters. Please look at the graph on the right. The black line is the true GPS path. First, let's look at the blue dot line, 25 meter calibration. It performed poorly, drifting significantly away from the path with a maximum error of nearly 3 meters. This confirms that 25 meters is simply too short to capture accurately scale. Second, the red dashed line, 100 meters calibration. We expected this to be the best, but surprisingly, it had a high altitude error of 1.13 meters. Why? Because even though the flight was long, the elevation change was relatively small compared to the distance. The vertical to horizon ratio was only 0.3, which is too low for the system to learn the vertical scale correctly. Finally, the green line, 50 meters calibration, this is the winner. It achieved the best balance with a maximum drift only 0.77 meters. It proves that a medium distance with good elevation change is more effective than a long flat flight. Okay, now let's look at the next mission, zigzag mission. The goal here was to test how well the system handles a frequent change in direction. Please look at the trajectory graph on the right. If you look closely at the zoom in box, you can see the blue dot line on the 25 meter calibration. It tends to cut inside the corners. It fails to tune sharply enough, resulting in the highest drift of 1.75 meters. In contrast, the red dashed line, the 100 meters calibration, follows the black GNSS line almost perfectly. It achieved the best performance with a maximum drift only 1.25 meters. The key insight, while the 100 meter calibration struggled with the altitude in the previous test, it excels here. The longer baseline provides better constraints for rotation, making it much more stable during sharp turns. Finally, we test the system on a complex trajectory of 600 meters. As you can see, the path from the letter ITS, containing loops, curve, and revisit paths. The good news, all 3 calibration methods successfully completed the mission with a final point error of less than 0.7 meters. This proves the system is viable for a long mission. However, there is a catch. Please look at the blue line, Visual SLAM 25 calibration. It seemingly had the best final accuracy, 0.52 meters. But if you look at the drift graph below, it actually has the worst maximum drift, 1.6 meter during the flight. The key insight, the low final error was just luck. It drift out and happened to drift back in. This is called error cancellation. For drone safety, we cannot rely on luck. Therefore, we conclude the FISLAM 100, the red line, is actually the superior method here, as it kept the drone more stable throughout the entire flight. To conclude our discussion, let's select the optimal strategy based on the data in this table. We evaluate 4 criteria: final drift, maximum drift, RMSE, and duration. If you look at the 100-meter strategy, it successfully reduced drift by about 10% in complex turns. However, in this small gain came at a high cost. It doubled the calibration time and introduced altitude errors. On the other hand, the 50-meter strategy, highlight in green, performed consistently well across all scenarios: strike, zigzag, and complex mission. It represents the most efficient choice. It provides the high reliability required for autonomous navigation without wasting battery life and on an excessively long calibration flight. Okay, to verify our result, we recorded the system running in real time. What you are seeing here in the back end of our simulation on the left side, on the right side, we have terminal window running on the Stella FISLAM nodes and ArduPilot ICTL connection. And the drone begins the mission with the calibration phase. It flies a short 25-meter path we discussed. As soon as that is finished, the system calculates the alignment parameter instantly. Then the parameter can be used for the next flight. To conclude my presentation, I would like to summarize our key contribution. In these results, we successfully developed pipeline to convert monocular visual SLAM into global coordinates. By combining the Umeyama algorithm with ICP refinement, we create robust alignment method that works even in challenging conditions. The key takeaway for everyone here is simple. You don't need expensive sensor or long calibration flight. We prove that a short 50 meters initial flight is sufficient to calibrate the system for accurate autonomous navigation in GNSS denied environment. This opens the door for using low-cost like big drones in complex mission. For future work, we plan to move the simulation to the real world by testing this on the physical drone and fusing the system with low-cost EMU for even better stability. Beyond the experiment result, we strongly believe in the value of open source. We realize that setting up this complex environment like ROS2, AirSim, and Visual SLAM that we use Visual Stella FISLAM can be difficult and time-consuming. Therefore, we have released a complete repository to the community. On the left, we provide a ready-to-use setup for Stella FISLAM running on ROS2 Humble. On the right, we provide the full AirSim and ArduPilot simulation environment. The key feature here is that we use PXE for dependency management. This means anyone can download this code and run it immediately in an isolated environment without needing to manually install dozens of libraries or risk breaking their operating system. We hope these tools will help other researchers reproduce our work and build upon it easily. Here the list of references we use to support this research. Okay, before I finish my presentation, I would like to formally acknowledge the financial support for this research. This work was made possible by Puslapdik BPPT and LPDP through Beasiswa Pendidikan Indonesia or BPI program. Their funding was essential for conducting this study and writing this article. And finally, that's bring me to the end of my presentation. Thank you to the ICAMIMIA committee for hosting this event, and thank you for all your time and attention today. I am now happy to answer any question may you have.